Hi, welcome back to my philosophy podcast. Okay, so I'm here with Alishba. You want to say hello?
Hi guys. Is that even working?
No.
I'm just gonna say hi guys.
So basically, my question is for my CBA: can trust exist without the possibility of betrayal?
I think that it can exist depending on the person. Like if you know them well enough, I feel like the possibility of betrayal, I mean, it's always there.
Yeah.
But if it's someone who's like close to your heart, I don't think they'll betray you.
Yeah, a lot of people would say yes, and some would say no. I do agree with your point, and then I do disagree. It's kind of hard because even the closest people can somehow betray us, and it's really surprising. That's why it's kind of like you have really had to trust these people, but even the people you trust the most can easily betray you, and it's not like that. Because it's like now that you're telling them all your secrets, or you're giving them everything about you, like now they know your whole weakness. They can just use that weakness against you. So I agree with your point, definitely. But then there's also kind of like you need to be not be ready, but like be careful of who you trust.
Well, let me ask you this. What is trust for you?
That's actually a good question. Trust for me, if I trust one another, I can tell that I'm able to tell them like issues that's going on in my life, or tell them secrets about me. And I feel like when I can trust them is because I realize they have a good heart, and I realize that they can keep a secret, and they're worthy of me. Like they're worthy to be my friend. Like if we're being friends for so long, and I realize that wow, this person is such a nice person, they're worthy of my trust. Like I'm ready to tell them stuff. So the second I start telling you like stuff about me that I don't tell others, I feel like that's when I slowly trust you. And the more you tell me stuff about you, I realize that we can trust each other, and there's a bond that we can connect with.
Yeah.
So what's your kind of view on trust as well? I kind of want to see your
I think that trust sometimes can be misleading. So I feel like sometimes people go off of like their feelings and kind of their like surroundings and
their senses.
Yeah, their senses kind of. And I feel like that can be misleading because it can lead you to trust someone who's not worthy of your trust. So I feel like I feel like senses are like not very.
Yeah, they lead us astray.
Yeah,
that is so funny because I actually have a philosopher for you that actually agrees on your point. So,
go off.
According to Plato, our perceptions of the world around us could not tell us about reality. Not only is the physical world in a state of constant change, our senses can also lead us astray, causing us to perceive things differently than they really are. So you actually have a philosopher right on your side.
So would you say that you agree with Plato's view?
I do agree on Plato's view. I was just kind of talking about that. I feel like when it comes to our senses, you can think someone is like dangerous and they can be a nice person, or you think someone is rude, but I feel like once you get to know the person, like you kind of see that they're actually a cool person, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like sometimes our senses be making us think one another, and they kind of change how we look at people. You be like, this person's not a nice person, they're really rude, they're weird. Like you wouldn't want to be friends with a girl that you think is giving you attitude, or you sense that maybe they don't like you. But at the end, they always wanted to be a friend. It's kind of like, oh, I didn't know that. I actually liked you the whole time, this and that. Like, our senses can always make us think the opposite. Like, they sometimes just, when you're trying to focus on one thing and be like, this is a nice person, our senses can just go on the alternate side and be like, don't trust this person. This person is not worthy. Lead us astray. But they also do tell us to trust the wrong person.
Yeah.
So you can't always trust on your senses. You can't always trust your senses.
And I also feel like animals tend to like use their senses to see if they can like trust other like creatures and all. And I feel like that can work. I mean, I think it works for them, but when it comes to us, I think because we have such a high like IQ compared to them, I feel like it can lead us astray.
Just like, for example, dogs, just adding on to your point.
Yeah.
Dogs, if they will sniff you, and if you just pet them, give them a treat, they will trust you straight away. They're gonna follow you around. They're gonna be cuddling with you. They're gonna follow you everywhere because they trust you and love you.
Exactly.
But they trust really easily, and that is what can get you easily hurt. If you trust someone so easily, then be ready to get hurt. You can't trust people in such a snap. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I always say expect the unexpected, because you need to be prepared.
Literally. So I'm going to see what other philosophers also kind of talked about trust itself. So we have Socrates. I hope I say his name right. He also talked about animals as well. So not as much, but he said trust as a kind of power and affection of the soul is related to the animals around us and everything that grows and the world, the whole class of artifacts. So these are the things Socrates says, that the objects of imagination are related by the way of likeness.
Oh, so he's kind of like taking a more natural, like animal and plants and all that approach. I see.
So I don't know, like, do I agree with him? Kind of, well, I don't really know, you know what I'm saying? So there's also another philosopher that I have two philosophers that I agree with. So they kind of like link in together by what they're saying. So I have Hume, so David Hume, and Immanuel Kant.
I'm aware of him.
So
I may have studied a bit about him, but yes, go on.
So Hume said trust is shaped by the way we see and reason about others' behavior. And Kant said trust should be based on rational morals, principles, not just what we observe. I loved what Kant said. I actually just agree with him so badly. I feel like we can you hear things about people and you believe them straight away, like a rumor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can hear such bad things about a person, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't want to be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be talking to this person. I don't like the way they talk or the way people dress. You be like, the way they dress probably linked in with their personality, so they're probably a mean person, they're probably weird, they probably do drugs. Like, they probably aren't like someone you would want to have a bond with. But when you get to know a person by so much, you're kind of like, you're not what I expected you to be. Your personality is so bright, so outstanding. Or if we want to do like another side of that, someone that can be so nice, so sweet. You get closer with them and you realize how rotten their personality could be.
Toxic they can be.
Yeah, toxic. Like, you're like, this is not the person I became friends with. Like, you were so kind to others. You were so kind to me.
Yeah.
Now when we're really close, all of a sudden, you're switching. Like, you're flipping your script. You're flipping your page.
Yeah.
You're switching mask. If you understand what I mean. So
yeah.
Well, what's your point? Like, you're kind of like, what do you think about what Kant and Hume said?
What Kant said, I'll talk about Hume's first. So Hume said, trust is shaped by what we see and reason about others' behavior. So he's actually on the other side of it. He's saying that we should use our senses and they actually help us. So again, I feel like in some situations this can work, but we're not animals. We're smarter than them, you know. So you have to like use your head, and you can't judge a book by its cover because it's always going to be different. So I feel like we should be aware of that. And then what Kant said, trust should be based on rational moral principles, not just what we observe. So really the opposite of what Hume said. And I actually do agree with that, like you did as well, because I feel like it's more rational to do that.
Yeah, I agree with your points. It does actually make sense. Like, as I said, I really do agree with both their points. I kind of see like a link with both their points. So now I'm going to talk about Stoicism. You know, kind of links in with what we're talking about trust. But first, I want to talk about what Stoicism really is. So Stoicism is kind of like utilitarianism and deontology. So there's obviously two different sides. So Stoicism is the goal of life is to know your duty and to do the right thing. And Epicureanism is the goal of life is to seek out pleasure and enjoy friends and learning. So you be like, oh, but what's the difference? So Epicurus, who's I think kind of started Epicurism. So he said Epicurus asked his followers to stay away from prominent public life and pursue a low-key existence. So try to stay out of trouble, live your life, but like make sure you're not in like heavy type thing. Just have a simple, calm life.
Yeah.
But Stoicism, Zeno, who I think found kind of Stoicism, Zeno taught his followers that it was their duty to make sure their belief was known to the public.
And I feel, and then there's like also a religious side to it. So like, in Epicureanism, they believed in gods, but they were distant and uninvolved in human affairs. So basically, they didn't believe in hell or heaven. They didn't believe in any of that stuff. Or like punishment after you die. But when it comes to Stoicism, they were actually really like strong in their belief on that. Like they saw themselves as a part of the cosmic web, and they advocated for living in accordance with nature's laws and accepting whatever happens as a part of divine plan. So I feel like they're more religious. The other side. So
like, what side are you on? Because personally, I think I'm on Epicurism. See, I would love to get my beliefs out. Definitely, I agree with Stoicism. No disagreement. But to get your beliefs out in public, you can face so much backlash. Like, in this society, it's very hard to get your point across because there's always going to be a group of people that will give you backlash. And that's why I feel like we can't really reach equality, because it's like, if you want your beliefs to be known about how we can reach equality or this and that, there's going to be people that disagree, and the backlash you face will be heavy. I know people say stand by your beliefs and stand by your religion and always get your point across, but in this society it's so hard just to even say one thing. Just to say, I believe in Jesus, or I believe women should have more rights, or gay rights, or literally just racism and all of that stuff, politics and that. It's just everything that we have to go through, protest, that's everything that happened, and we still can't reach the symbol of rights. So just to get your beliefs out in the public, it's so difficult to get across.
It is.
Especially in this generation.
And I feel like if we're leaving out religion, because there's like different parts of each that I agree with. So like when it comes to like religion, I think I'm more of Stoicism. But then when it's like the goal of life for Epicureanism, I actually agree with that a lot.
So you're kind of like both sides, really. You're kind of really on both sides. But
I think, I think that there should be structure in life, which is like Stoicism, but like outside of that, I think you should like enjoy your life. You shouldn't be depressed, like trying to please everyone. I feel like you should be yourself.
See, like, so Stoicism, basically what they said about trust. Stoicism reminds us that we can't control how others perceive us. So so basically saying, if a person thinks you're rude, or if a person doesn't like you, you can't control how they see you. You can maybe control your actions, but you can't control how they see you in their eyes. So instead of seeking universal approval, seeking their approval, focus on being your true self. So basically, don't change yourself for anybody else. Be your true self. And if they don't like you, or if they don't like who you are, they're not worthy of your trust. They're not worthy of you or to even be your friend.
I agree.
So Stoicism warns against blindly trusting individuals who seek popularity and attention. So people who will turn their back on you for popularity, people that seek attention, that will insult you, do maybe seek male validation or female validation, that will hurt you just to get others to view them as cool.
So you agree with that?
And then as they may easily shift allegiance. So basically what I just said there. So I agree with Stoicism's point, definitely, but I agree with you. Like, I'm also on the Epicurism and Stoicism side. You know what I mean?
Because there's good points in both of them.
There really is good points in both of them.
So I feel like, in conclusion, I feel like you really can't just be one thing. I think you should take things from both of them and apply that to yourself.
We are back. I'm here again, back with Alishba.
Hi guys.
So I'm just gonna now. So I made a survey about Epicureanism and Stoicism. I want to see who agreed and who disagreed, and I also want to see their reasons why. So first, I obviously put Epicureanism and kind of said what it was. So I said the goal of life is to seek out pleasure, enjoy with friends, and learning. Epicurus asks his followers to stay away from a prominent public life and pursue a low-key existence. Now, the results was actually kind of shocking. I won't lie to you. So 3 people strongly agreed, 3 people agreed, 3 people disagreed, 1 strongly disagreed, and 2 were neutral. So the key of what the results were, so their response, so the key points of it was manipulation and exploitation, key lifestyle, things in life, life itself, vulnerable to manipulation, moral duties, and goals in life. So I'm just gonna read like the top 3, one of the top 3 like responses that we got, and I actually really loved reading.
Okay.
So one person said, so anonymous, so we didn't get the name.
Yeah.
So I agree because I find seeking out the good things in life really makes your life more enjoyable and fulfilling. And living a more private life, because if you start overshare, you can become vulnerable to manipulation and exploitation, like I said.
Yeah.
It's better to just live a private and fun life, in my opinion. So that was one of the responses.
Okay.
So then another person said, I don't know if they agreed or disagreed, but I'm going to read the points and try to figure out if they agreed or disagree. So they said, I feel like living a more low-key life will make you not as hurt to what you want and your achievements. So I think they disagreed, right? Almost in a way, invalidating your goals in life and what you want to show and do to the world. However, at the same time, some people don't want to be in the spotlight, so you can't force them to be out there. So I think this one is either neutral. So they disagreed, but they also understand if other people were Epicureanism.
Okay.
And then the last one, if you have a purpose to fulfill, then I think that you should fulfill it instead of enjoying your life and live a low life existence. You should enjoy your life, but you should also fulfill your purpose. So I think they were also neutral too.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed those 3 responses. So
yeah, I think they were well thought out, well planned.
Definitely. So do you agree or do you kind of disagree? Like, is there any you disagree with?
I think that I definitely agree with the first one, because the one that said that seeking out the good things in life makes it more enjoyable and fulfilling, and living a more private life, because
if you start oversharing,
yeah,
you become vulnerable. Yeah.
I totally agree with that, because I think you should enjoy your life to the fullest, but also it's important to keep some things private, because yes, it can make you vulnerable in some situations. So yeah, I do agree with that one.
Yeah, that's very true. I also agree with that. I agree with all the points. I really don't disagree with any. So I really thank you for the people that actually did respond to the survey.
Yes, thank you.
It was trouble. It was really hard to just get a few responses.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how people were neutral, so they were either on both sides, and you can see which side they're mostly on and which one they weren't on. So the first one was obviously on the agree side, and then the other 2 was mostly on the disagree, but also understood why you would agree.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about Stoicism.
Okay, so I'm going to be reading out the responses for Stoicism. And the definition for Stoicism is, the goal of life is to know your duty and do the right thing. Zeno taught his followers that it was their duty to make their beliefs known to the public. Zeno is the leader, by the way. So from the responses we got, 1 strongly disagreed, 6 people were neutral, 5 agreed, and yeah, those were the responses we got. So I'm going to read out the key point.
Sorry.
We can crop that, it's fine.
Yeah.
The key points that we got were, one of the big ones were beliefs. Another one was right thing. We have scientific theories, Zeno, life, religious beliefs, set of beliefs, right thing, useful, beneficial, helpful, public. So yeah, those are kind of the responses we got. And from those, one of the responses we got was someone anonymous said, unsure because I don't think you should base your life around a set of beliefs. However, this is how scientific theories and religious beliefs are spread, and that can be beneficial. What do you think about that, Sarah?
Hey, woo, that's a really hard one to answer. So they are obviously neutral. This is really hard to like express their thing. So they're basically saying, I don't think you should base your life around sets of beliefs. I mean, I'm not very religious, but you are very religious, so I would kind of want to see your points on that.
I mean, for me personally, I'm religious, so I think that it is important, but for this individual, it's not as important, so it really depends on the person.
Yeah, it really does. I feel like however you were brought up and however you live your life, you would choose to set your life on what religion you believe in. And if you don't believe in a religion, that is obviously okay. Not everyone has to believe in God. Like, everyone can have their own views, so that's obviously fine.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Yeah, I don't really have any words for that one, but I definitely do not disagree. I just really think it depends on the person.
Yeah. Another response that we got was, I'm neutral on this. Yes, I do believe that doing the right thing is a good thing, but Zeno says to share your beliefs to the public, but you may be attacked for your beliefs. This is actually a really good point.
Oh, I actually did talk about this, didn't I?
Yeah, I think you did mention it earlier.
I talked about how in this generation and this society that just spreading out your views or your points, you can get backlash straight off the bat for something that you personally believe in, and society and certain people will not agree with your point to the point that it really does affect you badly, because like I said, this generation, this society nowadays, if you do something bad or if they don't agree with your point, they will they will send you death threats, they will try to look for your address, they will threaten you. It's really horrific, because for trying to get equal rights or just trying to get your beliefs straight out, it's just hard to do that. So realistically, I definitely agree with this point. You can face a lot of backlash just for your beliefs. So,
and that makes a lot of people scared to actually like say what they think and what's on their mind and their opinions. So yeah, I think this person really like agrees with your point, Sarah.
Yeah, I guess they do.
But okay, I'm gonna read another one. I agree, as even if you want to be put out there, your beliefs should be heard and respected like everyone else. This is also a good point.
Good point, obviously. Like, I definitely agree.
Yeah, if you feel comfortable in putting your beliefs out there, I think that you should be respected.
Yeah, I
for
think
that.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of depends on like what your view is. Like, I feel like if you want to say your view or want to speak out of your belief, just at least be respectful about your beliefs. So like, if you want to talk about your religion, do not backlash another person's religion and say their religion doesn't make sense with that. You stick to your religion and be respectful of everyone else's opinion. Even if people do backlash on you for your opinion, it's fine, because at least you said your views and everything, but just kind of be ready to face a bit of backlash. But literally, if you're trying to spread a view of women's rights, or if you disagree about women's abortion, for example, if you think that women should not be allowed to have an abortion, then have a respectful and what's the word for it? Have a respectful, and make sure when you're saying it's not just an opinion. Try to add on facts to it. So I know everyone that says women shouldn't have this or that is mostly their opinion, but there is also a bit of facts to it as well. So
yeah, I definitely think we need to be mindful of others when we're putting out our own beliefs and opinions, because like they can really hurt people, and you need to be mindful of others when you're speaking.
That's definitely true. So I just want to know kind of one thing. But what makes us as a society trust others so easily? You know what I mean? Like, not knowing if they will betray us or so. What makes us trust people so easily?
I feel like we trust people because we want to see the good in people. I think especially when it's someone that you think you know, I think you want to trust them and believe that they are a good person. And obviously sometimes that may not be the case, but we don't know that at the time.
Yeah, I agree, but it's kind of like when we say that, oh, because you see, like you can tell they're a good person.
Yeah.
So now, kind of what I'm trying to link in is
Mhm.
it our senses, because like according to Plato, our perceptions of the world around us could not tell us about reality, but our senses can also lead us astray because
Yeah.
it goes to perceive things differently than they really are. I know I already said this, but that's what I'm trying to link in. So I'm trying to get a philosopher that kind of agrees with me,
Mhm.
because I personally think it's our senses that make us
Yeah.
trust one another. What do you think?
I do think that people tend to rely on their senses a bit too much. I think that we shouldn't rely that much on our senses. I think that Plato also said this.
Yeah, he did.
And yeah, I agree with this point because I feel like people become really like naive when they start to trust people, and in the end you may end up getting hurt. So I think that we shouldn't always rely on our senses, and we should try to find out the facts as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. I agree, because I just kind of feel like first we need to experience what it feels like to be betrayed. So when you're going to be friends with another person, I'm not saying you have to, but I feel like when you're going to be friends with another person, you're not being careful not to trust so easily. You're learning off your mistakes, and like you're linking what you had with your experience to this one, making sure that you don't want to get yourself in a bad position again. So like that's what I'm saying. So I was also kind of thinking that our mind and our senses, they obviously play a team when it comes to trusting one another. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, definitely.
so our senses be like, this person is a good person, but our mind can also kind of be like, no, but I don't know how to really explain it. Our mind kind of plays also like a huge role, especially when it comes to like
Yeah.
trusting someone, because when you're thinking about if this person is good, like our mind can be telling us this is an amazing person, and just be putting out points of why they're amazing, because our mind is basically our thoughts. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just thinking, oh, this person is probably a good person. I think they're cool. I think they're really nice. I think they have such a bright personality. Their personality is glowing, and then our senses can say, we trust this person. Like I can sense that this person just has a good heart. So I feel like it's not just our senses that play a team, but I also think our mind helps as well. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're a team together, like best friends.
So would you say that you trust with your head or you trust with your heart?
That's actually a good question. I think I trust with my heart, because I feel like sometimes, like I said, it's like our thoughts as well when it comes to our mind.
Yeah.
I can be thinking this person is the sweetest person ever, but I feel like I always gotta trust my heart and what my heart says. If my heart, because I always trust in my senses, and my senses are always right. If I think a person is not a good person, I'm gonna take a step back, because my mind is saying give them a chance, but my heart is saying you're gonna get hurt. So I always try to step back, and at the end of the day, I'm sometimes right. Maybe sometimes I'm wrong, and my senses kind of lead me astray because I was easily manipulated. But I sometimes can't trust my mind, because I feel like when it comes to my mind, I'm always having like second thoughts.
Yeah.
Like I'm always like, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. No, I'm gonna be the friend. But my senses are just like, no, one chance only. I'm not gonna give you this or that. I'm gonna give you this. There's no that. Do not trust this person. Do you trust this person? Step away before you get hurt.
Absolutely.
But that's just my opinion, and that's my like experience with things.
Yeah.
What do you think though, like in your opinion and views?
I think that I tend to trust with my heart, but like if I get betrayed or like my trust is broken, I think that then I switch to my head, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand.
So yeah, I feel like it's that I like saying when it's like fool me once, fool me twice kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, the first time I may be a bit naive, but the second time I think I tend to like get a bit smarter or whatever.
Yeah. So what I actually want to know is trust innate or learned? And what I mean by innate is that, is it like when we trust someone, like does someone teach us to trust people
Mm-hmm.
or how to trust people, or is it just our mind and I sense it that we kind of, it was a natural thing. Like I can be like, oh, I trust that person, but no one ever told me that, oh, you shouldn't trust this person because you shouldn't trust people because this and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think it's...
I mean, I think that it is taught to trust certain people because, I mean, I feel like you kind of grow up with instincts. Sure, that's cool and whatever, but I feel like you have to learn the big stuff, like to trust certain people and to like believe certain things. So I feel like it is learned.
I agree, but I also kind of disagree because I feel like when we're kids, they would be like, don't trust a stranger, like this and that. But I feel like when we grow up, like when it comes to our friends, no one really tells us to like not trust our friends or don't trust these people if you're gonna be their friends. They just be like, don't trust strangers. But like, it's kind of like when you're about to become friends with a stranger, like whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but I feel like you can. No one ever teaches you to trust your friend or trust a teacher. I feel like you naturally be like, I can trust this person, and I have like, you know, trust in them. I see that, but no one ever teaches you to be like, don't trust these people because this that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, I do agree with your point though.
Yeah,
I understand where you're coming from.
Well, to end this off, linking back to our question, can trust exist without the possibility of betrayal?
Yeah, so let's see how we can come up with like a conclusion. So, I think, in my opinion,
Yes.
so can trust exist without the possibility of betrayal? No.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you really, when it comes to trust, you need to be cautious of who you're becoming friends with or who you are talking to. I feel that when you trust someone, it doesn't matter how much you love them because you cannot control their actions nor their words. So when it comes to trust, I feel like for the conclusion, just be cautious of who you're friends with and be cautious of what you say around them until you realize, okay, this is my number one, this is my best friend. Like I see a future of me being still their best friends. Like I see them being my bridesmaid or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think my conclusion, I hope we can both agree, is that trust can trust exist without?
Can trust exist without the possibility of betrayal? So you're saying it can exist. Or it can't, sorry.
It can't exist.
Okay.
Yeah.
I also agree with you because I feel like trusting someone is a really risky thing and betrayal is always in the back of my mind. I think that it is always a possibility and you should never fully let your guard down unless you're 100% sure. But I don't think you can ever be 100% sure to trust someone.
Exactly. So our final conclusion for can trust exist without the possibility of betrayal is no.
No.
So what we're going to do is that if you're going to trust someone, a friend or anybody, be cautious.
Definitely.
Don't let your guard down, like Alishba said.
Yes.
Be careful of who you trust. And obviously, don't quickly get manipulated to trust another. Don't quickly tell people your issues. You need to work with your friendship for a while to realize you can trust these people.
Absolutely.
So our conclusion
is that we're saying no.
We're saying no. Thank you for listening to the Philosophy Podcast. I thank you, Alishba, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, see you there. And next time with our CPA, which is probably going to be around the summer. Okay, everybody, goodbye.
Bye.